All right. Good morning to United States. Good afternoon to Europe and good evening to Asia. Thank you for being here for our Run to Bronze training. Probably one of the best, concise and systematic training to get you through your business and get you started. That's what we hope to achieve at least. And so I'm Edwina Lee from Singapore. So today I have the great task to bring you a topic called collecting a decision. So we have chosen to do our trainings in a certain way. Let's see if it helps you. So let's get going. We'll have time for questions later. While watching the presentation, if you have certain questions burning in your mind, you can start texting in the text chat so that we can go straight to Q&A right after I finish. All right, here we are. So when I first started, I thought that I'm supposed to collect a decision. All right, that means I wait for a decision. As I do this for 4 years and now I'm an expert doing three-way calls for people, I now realize I don't collect a decision. I help people to make a decision. And this is what I'm going to bring to you today. Okay, so a lot of people think that this part of the business is really just passively waiting for your friend's decision because we don't want to pressurize our friends. But some people end up pressurizing their friends into submission, not out of bad intent, but out of good intent. So what exactly is pressure? Have you ever had a friend telling you, please don't pressurize me? And you're like wondering, what did I do wrong? I didn't want to do that, but what did I do? You know, pressure really is a pacing. It's like when you dance with a dance partner and you are a little bit faster than the beat and you step on the toes. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, it's just that this person has a slower pace than you. So it's about pacing that person. The difficulty in this business is your friend doesn't lead, you are. You know, if someone have a very severe problem to solve and they are looking at this as a solution, then they tend to lead the conversation because they have a great vested interest to want to know. But in most cases, people are busy. You brought something out of the blue to them and they have no idea what this is. It may or may not be a priority, even though you may think that their needs are great. So this is an issue of perspective and priorities, right? So this follow-up is an issue of pacing, and this is a whole topic altogether. It's something that we learn as we build experience. And so it's okay if you step on someone's toes in the beginning. It's okay if you went from passive to aggressive. I want to tell you, it is perfectly fine because this business has to be learned by doing, right? So forgive yourself and keep going. Very often we think that the close is about explaining all the options factually without any emotions and allow people to make an informed decision. It is not wrong. Have you encountered this situation where you go into a brand new restaurant? It looks really nice and attractive, but when you sit down and look at the menu, for some reason you can't understand it. You just can't figure out the layout. You don't understand the titles. You don't quite get what they're trying to sell. And if you're being adventurous and trying a new cuisine, it doesn't make sense at all. Would you want someone to come by and help you with it instead of taking 1 hour trying to figure it out? To some people, looking at a Sears offering is a bit like that. And to many people, when they wish to buy a Sears and we start to explain all the different options to them, they feel like this. And in that confusion and indecision, they don't make a decision. And we all know in sales, emotions drives decision. When you want to buy something off the clothes rack, or you want to buy a food item off the supermarket, you don't make detailed decision. It's more like, I feel like eating chips today. Let's grab that one because there's an offer, right? Let's grab that one because it's attractive. A lot of our decisions are based on a spur of the moment. And sometimes after the spur of the moment is gone, even though mentally we like to make the decision, we are just too busy, we forget, and we just can't be bothered to put an effort to do it. That happens to all of us. So at this point, when you're looking at the menu, we want to come by and give help. Another perspective. Have you ever go and have a best shopping experience? I am someone who finds earning money easier than spending money. If I walk into a fashion shop, I have great difficulty buying clothes because I cannot tell color one from the other. And I cannot tell what looks good or don't look good. I'm a very weird woman. I could have been born a man because I'm really not fashion conscious at all. But if I go to a shop and I have a sales girl who can tell me, oh, ma'am, you look perfect in this, and I have just a skirt that will make you look good. And she bring 2 choices to me. And I try both, and I'm a bit hesitant because I can't really tell what's good. And she'll tell me, really, if you want something formal for work, this would be great. If you want to go on a date, this will look wonderful on you, and I tell you exactly why it fits you. And if you don't like this, I've got something else that you could choose between one or the other. Will I buy it? I will. If it's within my budget, I will, because it meets my needs. If I'm looking for work clothes and she talk about work, I like, yay, bingo. If she talk about dating and I want to go on a date, bingo, right? She met my needs. She read me well and she served me well. I ever walk into a shop and spend 3 hours there and I bought tons of stuff there simply because the salesperson was able to help me to make decisions. So think about it. Today, my whole conversation with you is about helping you to be so professional that you can be a professional shopping assistant. All right? Because you are the person who knows the product, you are the person who knows all the offerings, you know exactly the ins and the outs, and your friend is staring at a menu and trying to figure out what does it mean, right? So closing, if you take it passively, is not wrong, but your friend had to figure it out. If you take it factually, your friend had to figure it out. But if you can go one step further and give that level of advice, you may make some people feel very happy. But if you meet somebody who likes to figure out the menu by themselves, leave them alone, they don't want any recommendation, then just do it factually and leave them alone. You have to read your friend. To some people, buying a seer is not a life and death decision. They don't want to give more time than what is necessary to make a decision. They just want the answers. If you meet a red personality, tell them in clear sentences what is the best for them and they will do it. If there's a yellow personality who say, oh, could you help me? Then they will trust you because of relationship. But if you greet a green person, then please lay out everything factually and they will make a decision. Okay. But in whatever you lay out, I will always recommend you make one recommendation. So at the end of the day, what our role is to help them go through a process of understanding their needs by listening to them very carefully, asking the right questions so that you can understand them. Give them some solutions and perspectives so that it can meet their needs. Right? That's all we're trying to do. Our job is not to do a great big redox presentation and inform the scientists of the next biggest thing. We are trying to give people a solution or some help to their needs. So always remember that. Give them only what they need to meet their needs. So you need to listen to people. You need to ask questions so that you can really understand where they are coming from and what are they concerned about. The more effort you put in this, the more successful and the more helpful you will be. Don't spend time explaining what redox is. We have tons of tools to get that across, and it will be much more credible than we can ever do it. Even though I'm a corporate presenter, I can present redox, I can present opportunity. I don't do that to my three-way calls or even to my own friends. I will always send a tool to explain that, but I will give a lot of time to listen, ask questions to understand their needs. And then I spend effort working on perspectives, right? How does this help you? You know, a perspective about things. And then I influence the emotions and I appeal to the logic. A purchase decision is always an emotion and a logic. A person is moved by an emotional decision, and then the mind will then logically justify that it makes sense. So it's never through the mind first, it's always through the emotions first. So take time to listen, and the more understanding you have, the sharper and the better fit your solution will be. And if you do this in an environment of connection and care, so you must always watch out the temperature. How do they feel when they are with you? They are not going into a newsroom and get tons of info. They are talking to a friend. They're talking to a friend who cares about them. So don't go on and be a newscaster and download tons of info to them. Work on this aspect about understanding their needs, knowing how they feel, and bring somebody in for this. So if you build enough trust and credibility, when you suggest your solution or your proposal, they will be more willing to listen to you and consider your recommendation. So what I just mentioned is not about closing. It's actually from the first day you start talking to them, throughout the follow-up, your three-way calls, you are leading up to the close or the decision. Everything we do is leading to a decision, whether it's a yes, it's a no, not now, I'm not sure, let me have more info. Whatever it is building to that. So the close is not a one-off thing, it's the climax of everything that you're trying to do. So many people do not know what they want because they don't know what is available. This is very true, especially for our product and especially for our opportunity as well. In fact, many people think they know what it is, but they actually do not know what it really is. So our difficulty and our role is really to open up that perspectives for them to understand. And then with that understanding, narrow down to a recommendation for them to take the next step. So all these things sounds very complex, right? Because after 4 years, I can now make it sound really good. So if you are brand new, I highly recommend you bring a third party in, at least on the close. So if you have been on your own talking to your friend about it over coffee, and you say, oh, I really love what you share with me, I'm ready to start, and they don't need much info, it's okay. Some people will buy on trust. This is a good time to tell a friend, I'm not really in the business, I'm only just a user, but I know there are several things that can be useful to you, like different options. I would like to bring in someone who advise me so that you can get the best deal. If someone hear the best deal, they want to talk to somebody, right? Because they want the best deal. So bringing a third party. If someone say, okay, I think I would like to use it for my husband's big health condition, but I'm not sure, so how should I use it? Oh, that's a very good question, and this product needs proper advice for it to have good results. I would like to bring someone in who really is an expert that helps me, and you can get all your questions answered, and she will tell you what's the best way to buy. So bring a third party in. Okay, so from this point, what I'm going to share can be a little bit overwhelming for someone brand new. But if you have been able to do a three-way call for people, or if you have been able to do closing on your own, this may give you more perspectives to help you perhaps hone your skill and do better. So this is what I've been piloting this 1 year through all my three-way calls. So it's not from any book, it's not from any training, it's something that I came out of my own experience. It may not be good enough, but it's a perspective for you to glean in. When you talk to somebody, they will tell you their needs. Write down their needs, and where possible, use the words they use, because a person relate to the words that they speak. So if you use that keyword and keep using it in every conversation, you are striking bullseye on their heart over and over again. So I'm saying this with the expectation that you have great integrity, you sincerely want to be authentic, and therefore when we do all these things, it's simply keeping it very efficient and effective for our conversations to go through, because we know that we are not scamming people. All right. Secondly is, what we say, is it easy to understand for that person? Okay, it's not about whether are we able to say it, it's whether is it easy for that person to understand. So first thing, some people like big picture, some people need details. The big picture person, when they hear details, they are overwhelmed. The detailed person, if they do not hear details, they cannot logically follow you, and therefore they will think this has no basis, and therefore it is not reasonable. So as you listen to people talk, you need to kind of figure out what type of person are they, right? And if you cannot figure it out, ask them, would you like a lot of scientific information? Oh, no, 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 don't give me science. What would you like to see? Would you like testimonies, or would you like science? Would you like a 10-minute presentation or a 1 hour great detailed overview? You can ask them, give them options. Some people just want to know how it can work on my situation. Can you tell me how I could help my child? She's in the hospital right now. This person will not want a logical, factual, major explanation. They just want to know right now, what can I do? Are you sure this will help? What is the success rate? How do I use it? How do I get it? Can you tell me all in 10 minutes, right? Or somebody saying, no, I've bought many products. I'm extremely skeptical. I need to be convinced of the science. Can you tell me exactly how this thing works? Then send them a tool that will answer it. So what convinces? Different people are convinced by different things. You have to send them information that connects to them. Some people, like I've done this survey with a few of my teammates. I spoke to this lady. I said, what made you buy a Seer ultimately? Oh, I attended this webinar and I heard this lady shared a testimony. And this testimony is totally unrelated from her health issue. I was very intrigued. I said, what got you attracted to buy the product from this testimony? I heard the gratefulness in her voice. I heard how difficult life was, and I heard the turnaround. I heard her emotions. So I joke, say, I'm sure your friend must have sent you tons of stuff to read before this event, because I know her upline. Yeah, and I'm very sure you didn't read any of them. Correct. Not even screenshot of testimonies. Yes, I don't like to read. And I spoke to another person and said, if I sent you a video testimony, oh, I will never click a video testimony. If I cannot see something and get it in 7 seconds, that's out of the window. I don't have time to on a video and have it load up. It's not my cup of tea. Do you hear what I'm saying? You can send the best information, but if it does not come in a form that connects to them in the way that they like to receive it, it doesn't matter. So ask them, would you like to watch something for 10 minutes or would you prefer to look at something for 10 minutes? To some people, looking at a before and after picture speaks a million words more than a testimony in writing could, right? So you can simply ask people if you're not sure. And have you ever realized that when someone tells you something new, like, hey, there's a shop down the road that sells great barbecue, you heard it once and like, yeah, okay. And you heard a second person tell you the same thing. Oh, that's interesting. It's the same shop. The third time you hear someone tell you, hey, I tried it, it's really good. I'm like, oh, maybe I should do it. The fourth time you receive that information again, perhaps in a flyer, or perhaps someone on the street tells you that, you will go. Why? Because your convincer pattern is 3 times. Ever since I attended a course on NLP and I learned this, and I've been observing myself, I realized I have a convincer pattern of 3 times. Anything that is new to me, I need to hear it 3 times before I feel moved to want to do it. So my poor husband now realized that when he talks to me and don't listen to him, it's not because I don't love him, it's because he has not talked to me 3 times. So he's now able to handle this aspect of me. So what I'm sharing with you is many people who is very tender-hearted will say, I talked to my friend and she didn't reply me. I'm done. That's it. I'm not pressurizing her. I'm getting out of here. Sometimes some people need a repetition. Okay. And sometimes they need to see 3 different things, not just the same thing 3 times. So it depends. So this is quite a valid convincer pattern of number of times. Some people it's 1 time, some people are 3 times, some are 5 times, right? And some people about relationship. If it comes from a dear and trusted friend, I'm prepared to try it. If you have a friend like that, it's okay to go ahead, but please keep up with the logical explanation as she experienced the product, so that her experience and the factual thing will go hand in hand. Otherwise, they may just drop it after 90 days because they do not see the great change that they're expecting. But some people buy on relationship, and that's the power of the hot market. So if your hot market is exhausted, does it mean that you can't do this business? Of course not. It just means that you now have to build the skills to be able to do the listening, the questioning, and the conversation far better, because there's no relationship to kind of gloss over. But once you can do that, you can talk to anybody in any situation. So the close is really giving people 2 options, clarifying where they are, clarifying their considerations, and make it as painless to do as possible. I'm going to give you an illustration of how I do it. Okay, so when you do your follow-up, at some point, it will look like you're talking to yourself because your friend is not replying because they do not know what to reply. And some people are not very proactive. They won't say, okay, I'm ready to start. Some people is more like, all right, let's see what happens. It's okay at some point to try this sentence. Will you like to try the product? You will be very surprised. Perhaps 30% of the time, they'll go, yeah, why not? Okay. And if they say, no, I'm not ready, then you can ask, which aspect of the product is holding you back? Or which aspect would you like to know more? And they will talk to you because they will tell you. So either way, you get them talking, right? And if it's about your business, you can say, shall we start your trial or the business opportunity, right? When I bring someone in for the business, I call it a trial. You can trial it for a month, you can trial it for 3 months. And if it doesn't work, what do you have to lose? We'll work that out as well, right? So today I don't have time to go into the opportunity part because it will take another 10-15 minutes. So that I will leave it to another day. If you want, I can shoot a video on it. But today I want to talk about a product because I think most people lead with the product. So round 1, if they say, yes, I would like to try the product. All right, so I will propose a solution. Are you ready to try some product? And these words are intentional. It's meant to be very light, very inconsequential, and very easy to jump on. And then I will say, you can try as a retail or preferred customer without commitment. All the words in red are hooks. When you hook up a fish on the water, you need to say things that hook people because these are the words that hit a person's heart faster than their brain could process it. Do you realize that people listen to you or watch anything, they use like 10% of brain power? They're not going to analyze your grammatic English. They're not going to look into all your qualifiers or all the things you say. They are really only focusing on keywords. So these are the keywords that will hit someone's heart. So how do you explain the schemes, the preferred customer, the associates? Don't use a seer language. They are meaningless. before you join a SEER, does auto ship make sense to you? Does loyalty points make sense to you? They don't make sense to us, right? Explain them as benefits to your friend from their point of view. So what is their point of view? In the course of your follow-up, you would have hear objections. You will know their needs, and you will also know their expectations. All right. Use this knowledge and make them into words that you can use. So for example, if they say, I don't know if I can take this for long because it's going to be expensive. I'm not sure if this will work. I may not be able to take a large amount. Or, oh, the doctor is going to give us a diagnosis in 2 months and we may use this difficult treatment. Will we be able to see some change in 2 months? Right? So times are sensitive. So depending what their expectations or concerns are, you have to meet their need through a realistic way. So this is the way I explain a retail customer. Buy whatever you want. There is no minimum spend. There is no commitment. And you can order again when you're ready, just like Amazon. And it's at retail price. Okay. So I've changed all the wording to what you will read in the marketing brochure, which is basically what people are familiar with. You'll be very surprised that no minimum spend makes people feel very, very happy. Or be a preferred customer and buy whatever you want. There is no minimum spend. It is at wholesale price, which is the same price as a distributor. It's the cheapest possible price that a SEER can sell a person directly. There is no commitment. I have people questioning me, especially the team. How could you say at Winner there's no commitment? I can, because after the first purchase, can they delete the auto ship and terminate? Yes, they can. Can they defer their auto ship to 3 months later, 2 months later? Yes, they can. Right? There is no commitment if they don't care about the loyalty points. But if someone just started, does the loyalty points even matter? It doesn't matter. All they care about is that I am not locked in. I buy whatever I want. I'm not tagged to 100 PV, and I can buy it at a cheaper price. So I say normally this scheme is meant for customers who like the product, but I would like to save some money for you and recommend this to you. And you can simply manually defer the auto ship date when you like. You can do a manual workaround instead of letting the system go on autopilot. So, but when you like the product, or if you like the product, you can reorder monthly. Like all of us order monthly. We don't buy a great amount to stock up, because when we buy it monthly, we get loyalty points. And that makes our product cheaper, and we can get more free product after a year of purchase, or any time in the year, you can do that. So you can actually go and work out exactly how much loyalty points you will get in a year based on the percentage, and tell her you will get a case free after 1 year of purchase. And you get more in the second year. So the longer you buy a SEER, the cheaper it gets because of the loyalty points. Does that sound attractive? So auto ships are totally in your control. You can change the items. You can send to your mom's house. I have people who share an account because they're not regular users. So their sister buys this month, their mom buys the next month. You're totally in your control. You change the items, change the address, change the country. You change the date. You don't have to buy monthly. You can do alternate months if you like. You just manually control it. But if you buy monthly, you earn loyalty points, which is a long-term discount for you. So you are never locked in because you're always in control. Sounds cool? Am I saying anything not factual in this conversation? I don't think so. But the entire language makes the person feel totally different. If you plan to use more products for faster results, and we all know in experience that for certain conditions and certain situations, if you use more, it is realistic to expect a faster result. Not for everything, for some things. And if you want to do this conversation, you can say, I'm not experienced enough to do this. I really recommend you speak to this person who's so experienced, and it's so difficult to get her time, but I have some connections. And if I were to make a request, I should be able to get this leader online with me. Would you like that? I think a 10 minutes phone call with her will be very effective. So use anything as an excuse, as a reason, because the truth is, if you bring an experienced third party, you really get a lot more done, and your friend get better value. If you have other family members taking the product together with you, or if you want to enjoy a discounted bulk purchase, people don't understand what's called associate packages, but people understand bulk purchase. Like if you go Costco and you drive a carton of Coca-Cola, it's cheaper than if you buy it at the grocery store down the road. If like in some locality, mothers were bound together to order eggs in bulk because it's cheaper, because we buy it from the wholesaler, right? So bulk purchase is something that people do understand. If you have a certain term that is used often in your country, use that term. Use a term that people can understand and relate to. So if I say, would you like to enjoy a discounted bulk purchase? When you put this word in a person's mind, their mind are hinged on that word called discount. And then I'll say the associate entry packs enjoys an X percentage of discount. You can go work out the percentage. Later I'll show you there are 4 ways to work that out. Okay. And then you can just say that, for example, the business pack enjoys about a 12% discount and the entrepreneur pack enjoys about an 18% discount, if you're comfortable with that. And they will be very interested to ask you, what is a business pack? What is an entrepreneur pack? Okay. And then you just tell them these are one-time privilege when you are joining as an associate. Many people think that the entry packs are recurring purchase, and so they will tell you it's too much. I'll say it's a one-time purchase. Some people find that it makes sense because if it add up all the different people in the house using it, it's about that amount for about a month or 2 or maybe 3 months, and they don't mind storing it for the sake of the discount. But if you can't store it, then we can always buy a smaller package. If you are totally unsure, why don't you just start as a customer? You can always convert to the associate later. All my conversions will convert to entrepreneur pack because I've talked about this from the beginning. So I'll say, if you're not sure, you can try some small amount of product first as a customer. And when you are ready to use more, or when you decide to use longer term, or if your family members joining you, call me again to talk about the packages because you will save some money. And I just have one message coming in this morning and say, tell me about the associate pack because I'm now ready, right? And I asked her, what's the reason? Because I think I want to continue using. It's been 2 months and I like what I see. So as you share all this with them, it's a lot of information. You can share this over text, you can share it over a phone, over a Zoom. And after that, you must wait for an answer because they are now wrapping their head around all the different things that you just said, and they will start to mumble to themselves. Okay. So they will say, wait a minute, just now you mentioned the business pack again. How was the percentage? Clarify only the part that they are confused about. Don't go explaining everything all over again. You are not doing them a favor because you can think that you are clarifying the details, but actually they are even more confused. They need to settle in their mind. So just let them settle, okay? And they will start to mumble points here and points there. That's very ad hoc. Let them mumble. Clarify only this part that they ask you and give them that space to process. In a Zoom, sometimes that can be 5 minutes. And I give them tremendous space. Oh, I'm sorry, Edwina. I'm trying to, no worries about it. Just take your time. Give them the time. Trust me, it's worth it. Okay? I'm extremely patient at this point, and I enjoy this kind of deliberation because if they take time to think, it means they're able to make a decision. If they can't make a decision, they'll tell you, stop. I'm not ready for this. Thank you for the information. I am not ready. It's very fast. But if they hesitate, they are thinking. So give them the space. Listen to what they say to you or to themselves in their mumbling. But listen quietly so that they are not disrupted. And what do you listen to? What are they attracted by? Oh, do you say that the customer has no locked in? What do you mean by that? It means you can manually adjust your orders. Oh, okay. That's not too bad. So, they are talking to themselves, but what they're attracted about is important to note. What are they hesitating? Oh, the entrepreneur pack looks very attractive. Did you say 18% discount? Oh, that's a lot. So how much is 18%? I have a calculator ready. It means that you are paying less by this amount of money every box. Oh, that's good. That's great. Oh, but how much is it again? It's about 1,500. Oh, if you have the kind of cash flow, it's fine. If you don't have to consider that. 1,500. I can, I guess. But as they talk, you are listening. You are listening. Okay. You are starting to see what they are really considering between. People tend to consider between 2 points, right? So what they're attracted by and what they're hesitating at is probably the 2 points that is going to highlight to you. And at this point, most people say, tell you what, because you have been waiting for 5 minutes, right? You feel like your time is precious. The 3-way call shouldn't take so long. Why don't you go home and think about it and come back and tell us? Or the associate will be able to help you from this point to do it. Don't do that. Don't ever do that, because you spend so much time to build up so much emotional energy and so much attraction. And if you let them go home and cool it off, they are not going to come back to you because they can't grapple with it. They say, it doesn't make sense to me. I will just buy one box. Or I'll just buy the smallest pack because I can't decide if I should go for the bigger pack. And they will come back and do that. And your associate has no ability to handle this conversation at this point. Okay. So you need to push towards a close. So this is what I'll recommend to you. So to me, a close is always two-part in most times. If the person is very comfortable, after the first round, they will come and tell me, okay, I am interested in this entrepreneur pack because there's a discount, but I think there's a lot of product. Okay, let's work it out. So at this point, I'm kneeling towards a converge. So what am I converging? As I listen to them, I know their needs. I know their objections. I know their expectations of the product. Are they time sensitive? Are they cost sensitive? Are they effectiveness sensitive? Are they science sensitive? Okay. So depending what their considerations are, I also know what they've been mumbling. What are they attracted about? Or the discount is attractive, or the no lock-in is attractive, or the conversion is attractive, right? Depending what they are considering and what they're hesitating over, I have enough data points to now create a solution that I can bring to a close. So usually this is what I do. It's like mentally clearing the table. Okay, let's put aside everything that we have talked about so far. All right, let's go back to where this started. You are looking for something that could help your husband's health condition, right? And we know that the doctor is going to call for a medical check probably like 2 months later, and you are very unwilling to see him increase the medication. Correct? Yes, right. So we are going to see if this product can do something for you in 2 months, right? And we talked about it giving time. Yes, and we talk about cellular rejuvenation need time, blah, blah, blah. But we also have shown you that if certain people take a certain higher amount for such a situation, there are some people who manage to do better with it. It's a percentage, but we could give ourselves that chance. Right. So if we base on the ideal scenario, you will probably need this amount a day, maybe about 8 ounces a day. And that means you need about 2 cases a month. And would you like to use the gel? And you mentioned that he has joint pain. That is possibly good to use, and it helps with other things in the family. Then I will show the whole list of things that you can do the gel with. You can use for the children, for the pets, for the grandparents, for yourself. Then I say, oh, and the gel is usually cheaper if you buy in bulk of 4 tubes. Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds good. Maybe I could use it for my child and for this, for that. So they have an emotional intent for the gel because of someone they love. All right. So yeah, 4 tubes sounds about good if you're sharing. You can even give to a sister or someone who lives down the road. Yeah, that's true. So we talk about the gel, right? So basically, I'm working up the amount of product they would need based on their consideration, based on the solution set that they want. As I work it out, I'll say, you are already looking at 4 cases a month. So the business pack is really something that you will need every month. So at this point, you can then consider, would you want to buy the business pack and do auto ship 1 case a month or more if you need to? Or you can push up to do the entrepreneur pack, which means you have enough product for 2 months. And if your husband can take 8 ounces, you want to push it to half a bottle or a bottle you have extra on hand to try that within these 2 months without the hassle of reordering. You simply have it on hand to do what you need. And we are here to help you with it. That's provided you have place to store and you're comfortable with the upfront cash. So you realize that although I am very focused on making the sale, I am extremely transparent about the requirements, right? And I consider things from their perspective. We can afford it. I guess we can find a space to store it. Right. Let me think about it, right? So we then I will give them a second choice. So this is like the ideal for you, the cheapest way to buy it, the ideal amount that you can take to see the results you want. And then they will start to mumble again. Okay. Listen again and give space, because this is where you will converge even more. And then I will recalibrate. Sometimes at this point, I decided, no, they're not going to go for the big pack. No way, right? Because then I say, I'll recalibrate. I say, why don't put it this way? What I suggested may be very ideal, but perhaps it's just too much right at this point in time. So why don't we start small? Why don't you take a customer account and buy a small amount with a refund backing up the order, and we can start from a smaller place and we see where it goes. You can always convert to the entrepreneur pack at a later date. That sounds right. All right. So that sounds right. And if they say, no, 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 I don't want to do that. I don't want to get a customer pack. I really want the discount. Okay. So let me say, I will give you two solutions. And then you can perhaps discuss with your husband, and maybe we can meet about tomorrow or 2 days later. We can talk about it again. And if your husband gives you a hard time or asks you lots of questions, will you bring him to see us over the Zoom? Let us handle it for you because we're professionals. So I will, in my text with them, text out the whole solution. What am I suggesting? Why am I suggesting it? What's the value to them? And how much is it? I will put as a text message, as two summary, like a proposal for them to consider. Some people do it in a very fancy way for Word document, but I do it in a text message because that's duplicable, right? So how to present the discount of the associate account? I didn't want to go further because then my time could catch up with me. You can share in terms of dollar save. Okay, if you buy this package, there's free membership, there's free sample gels, there are free loyalty points. You can work out the dollar value. So this is how much savings you get, right? You can do a cost per case consideration. So the way I like to do it is, we all know that the biggest attraction in the entrepreneur pack is 150 loyalty points. And you can only redeem that after one auto ship of 150 PV or two auto ship of 100 PV on the third month, right? So I'll tell people, all right, so basically you're buying 8 cases with 2 cases on auto ship and getting 2 free cases. It's like a buy 8, free 2 concept. And then I worked out all the costs, including the delivery, including the taxes, and I divide it by 12 boxes, and this is the cost amount. On top of it, you have free sample gels that you don't care about. There's free membership that you say is irrelevant cost. For some people who are very mathematical, the sample gels is not called a savings. I don't like the gel. Why should I consider it as a savings? So, okay, let's just consider the products that you really want, which is the 8 in the case, 2 on the auto ship, and 2 free. And you net it up into a per case basis, that's a saving. I have used that calculation very, very often for people. And once I do that, I have no problem with people staying on auto ship about, oh, I got to pay for extra delivery. I've worked it all in, there's no hidden costs. So that solves a lot of conversation. Or you can say there's a discounted entry pack, which means free membership, free sample gels. Okay, so that's a discount. And on top of that, if you have 2 auto ships, you get 2 free case for entrepreneur pack. For business pack, you have 2 auto ships, or you can say you can have 150 PV, 1 auto ship, and you can have, no, you still need 2 auto ships and 1 free case of product for business pack. So they'll tell you, oh, entrepreneur pack, I get 2 free. Yes, you do. And business pack, I get 1 free. Yes, you do. And the discount is bigger for entrepreneur pack. Yes. Oh, then I should get the entrepreneur pack, right? So depending how you laid it out, it's always attractive one way or the other. Hands down, the entrepreneur pack is the most attractive. The other thing I tell people is, if you're taking so much for personal health or your family sharing, don't buy it all on your associate account because you earn nothing from it. You can get a family member to be your preferred customer, and then you will earn 25 US dollar or 35 Sing dollar or 105 ringgit on every case or product that your family buy. So every case get a discount except for the first one, which is based on your associate. That 100 PV on your associate account gives you the right to earn commission. When I first started this, it was a kind deed to help many people buy cheaper. And I was willing to sacrifice half volume for that. I really was. We all know that when preferred customers buy, only the sponsor earn the preferred customer bonus, or uplines don't earn it, but we all sacrifice half volume for it. That means slower rank advancements, lesser team commissions. But I was willing to sacrifice that way. But what I didn't realize is, by this kind deed, I duplicated a very big business. So people feel happy because they get a discount of their product. It pushes the product to a budget that they could afford, and therefore they see results. And as they see results, friends will say, hey, I would like to buy some product to try, but I don't want to open an account. So this associate who's not in the business can say, I could help you buy it, but they buy it with their preferred customer account. That means there is an inbuilt commissions for them, but we teach them that you have to sell it at wholesale price minimum or retail price maximum because it's a price list. This is compliant to company regulation. The commission is just something internal that we created to help you benefit from the system. You can't give that to your friend, okay? So that creates actually an income model for people. And as their friend like it, it's very natural for this friend to say, I could order for you using my preferred customer account. And after a while, upline will say, why don't you ask your friend to create their own preferred customer account? Then you don't have to worry about orders and auto ships for them. And your friend will be able to earn loyalty points just like you do. Yeah, that's true. I don't want to earn my friend's points. I want my friend to get her own points because I love my friend. And so this associate who's not in the business gain a new preferred customer by being a good friend. And when they start to earn money from these things, they realize I could earn $25 just by being a good friend. That's easier than going out to work an extra hour. That's easier than trying to work harder at my full-time job and wait for a promotion. That extra money does something for me. It allows me to buy my products, or it allows me to put something else for the children or for the family. It becomes a very natural way for people to see the business in a very simple form. So that has been something that I've been using a lot in my business. So what I just shared sounds very complicated, but it gets practiced with time. In essence, in summary, is you just need to listen to know what people need and help them to find a solution that really meet their needs and talk in a way that makes sense from their point of view. So I bought this when I first started in my first year because I really don't know all these skills and I don't have someone to teach me. But whenever I see this title, I feel like this. I don't like network marketing. I don't like sales. I hate to see myself as a salesperson because deep in my heart, I kind of reject it. So I feel this way. I finally picked up this brand new book in my bookshelf because I was asked to do this session. I didn't have time to finish it. I only did chapter 1. And so I gave you the quote from chapter 1. But what I realized in these 4 years is, truth be told, what is a sales? A sales is really just helping people to get through the clutter of the menu, to find the item that suits their needs and help them to make the best possible decision. You can do it unethically with only your interest, or you can do it ethically with that person's interest. Either way, people need professionals to help them make decisions. We buy shampoo because of the advertisement. When I moved to Canada for my student exchange, I couldn't buy a bottle of shampoo. I don't recognize any brands on the shelf. That's when I realized advertisement has done something to educate us or sway us to certain mindset because we associate certain images with certain brands thanks to the ads. But because I wasn't watching TV in Canada, I couldn't buy a single bottle of shampoo because they all look the same to me, right? So every day out there, we are being manipulated, we are being educated on certain things all the time. It takes place subconsciously, it takes place ceaselessly. So therefore, as a SEO professional, we have a professionalism to bring the knowledge and the education to help someone make a decision. Whether yes or no is up to them, but we have to make the process easier. So this collecting a decision is just really helping them to make that decision in an easier way by tying together their needs, objections, expectations, and the language that they need to hear in a manner that saves them time and meet their needs. And you can use an expert for that. Thank you. And before I go, my last announcement is next week, we have Lynn Matthews who will come and share with us how do you support product users. But an important announcement is there's a time change. US and Europe has turned their clocks. So we have decided that it will be 8:30 a.m. Eastern, 2:30 p.m. Sweden, but Singapore will have the training at 9:30 p.m. because we can't make people wake up any earlier. It's already 5:30, I think, in some parts of US. So for Singapore and Asia, we are going to have our training at 9:30 p.m. instead.